Hello everyone, how are you all? It's Bindi here, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a meditation teacher and a life coach. And all my life coaching is very much soul-led, all about the inner self, that inner part of you, that truth of you. So if this is something that you feel called to do, please do get in touch with me. Okay, so today's session then we're going to do some reflection and thought around this year, around everything around this year really, but focusing more on the inequalities which have been shown and highlighted to us. So 2020 then has and is a big year. So much has been shown to us during this COVID-19 time, during the actual health crisis, during the lockdown, and really focusing on those inequalities. And there's a number of them. So the first one then is the health inequality. And for me, the health inequality is interesting because that's the collective and the world in this. So you know how different countries have different health systems, different ways of providing health to their citizens, different price points within health. So here in the UK, we can go for treatment and we do not pay. It's free at the point of contact, which means that yes, it's paid for with taxes, but we don't necessarily go and have to give in a credit card for our treatment, and we don't have to pay. That is free when we go. So not every country operates that way, right? So you have all of those health inequalities of insurance, the countries with health insurance and the citizens with the insurance or without the insurance. So immediately you know that there are going to be people out there with COVID-19, with health conditions, not feeling well, but cannot afford to go and sort it out, cannot afford to go to the doctor or to the hospital or sort out their illness. So immediately you can see how the pandemic can grow, how the virus can grow, because the health inequalities are not equal, and even within systems they're not equal. So that is the first thing, and that's a big thing. That'll be a lot of reflection, a lot of writing or thought around that health system inequality. And then what about where the inequalities of lockdown and going into lockdown, and whether you live in a house or whether you live in a big tower block or shared housing. So that was a really big one that I really reflected a lot on, because here I'm in a house, I have a garden, I can sit outside, I don't have to see anybody, I can have walks on quiet streets. What about if you're in a bigger city? If you're in a shared housing, so as soon as you open your door, you don't know who else is going to be in that corridor, on the stairs. If you're in a tower block, going down the stairs to go out, how scary is that? How much fear is that in that kind of situation? So, that inequality of where you live and how you live, whether you're in a house or in a tower block. And I think that's a really big one, because that's the real fear then that sets in. And also the exercise, then you're not going to be going out every day to do some exercise. Maybe it'll be 2 or 3 times a week because you don't want to move out of your room or your apartment. However big or small that is, you're still very, very confined in that. And then what about the children? I really think of that a lot, especially the young children who were going to school from families who are very, very hardworking, who have to work through all of this. So there's no chance that they're being homeschooled. Yes, they'll have some teacher interaction if they're lucky. They'll have some Zoom calls if they have a computer at home, if they have the internet at home. There's so much inequality around that, around technology. And then that homeschooling and not homeschooling, and how a lot of children will be falling behind their peers. And depending on their age and depending on the level of education that they've had up until this point, that lagging behind could then be giving them the foundation, so a flaky foundation for the rest of their lives. So they may never actually fulfill that potential or fulfill a very good education, because it's really, really important that you have a strong background, right, for anything. And for education, that strong background, and that might really, really prevent them in the future. So that's really sad. And that is a big, big highlight of inequality. To a child who goes maybe to a private school, so they're more likely to have their technology, but also more likely to have the teachers there for them with the calls, with the Zoom calls, with the interaction. That inequality, and also, the parents might not need to be working as long or as hard at this time, because a lot of parents may be on furlough. So they might actually not be working, so be available there for the child. And then some parents may have to work, no choice. Their jobs are not ones that they can work from home. Key workers, people who have to go and run the public transport, run the supermarkets, work, be in the hospitals, those kind of jobs where there's no working from home, there's no furlough. So that whole work inequality as well. So yeah, let's take some time to reflect on all of this, and on an individual level around where you are. Are you on furlough? Do you see the privilege of that, of being on furlough? Are you having to work and work a lot? And how do you feel around that? How do you feel in general around everything that's gone on, everything that's going on an individual basis with you, and also on the collective basis of where you live, the town, the city, the country, but also the world, the collective with the world. It's a pandemic after all. It impacts the whole world. So we'll take a few minutes and really reflect. So your reflection can be written. It can be thought. You could just sit and really think about it all. You can go to your soul. You can close your eyes. You can let your soul lead you with what messages that you need to receive from this time. What's going on. And also the different layers are so interesting. The different layers of life with all of this, with the highlighting of the inequalities. But also what I found is going from bit to bit to bit. And then I found this amazing quote by Emily Dickinson, which I'm going to read out because I feel this quote really highlights the layers. So the quote is, "The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind." And that's by Emily Dickinson. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind. And I think that's the different layers and the different things being highlighted along the way. Because if everything's given to you, and if 2020 is such a big year, which it is, and it shows us everything in 1 month of the year, for example, there's too much. There's too much to be shown everything at once. So we're being shown bit by bit through the months. So now we're in July. We've still got a few more months of this year to come. There'll still be things that will be shown to us. And we'll be shown them. We'll have the time to reflect and do our inner work. And then see what we're going to do about it. What are our solutions going forward? Life will never be the same again. I know a lot of people want it to be, but it will never be. Our eyes have all been opened to this all. So there will be change. It could take a few years, of course. Change doesn't necessarily happen quickly. But it has been an eye-opener this year, a real eye-opener. And there are layers to this. And you will be reflecting and writing, and more and more and more will come up all the time. Okay, let's take our time. I'll give you 5 minutes to do your reflection on what this year has shown you so far. So when you're ready, come back here, maybe write your last words, have your last thoughts. And there's a lot there. There is a lot to think about, to reflect on. So carry on whenever you can. Write in your journal, maybe a few minutes a day as you start getting more busier. So a few minutes a day, just letting yourself reflect on what you've learned, what you are learning, the lessons of this year, because there's a lot of this year where that harsh reality of life will really hit you. It might not necessarily be your own life, but it might be the collective and what other people are going through, and having that empathy. And also then what you're going through as well. So there's a lot there to really uncover and live through this year. And also you might be surprised at your strength and your resilience, especially if you've been meditating for a while. Then, you'll be reaching in within and realizing that you do have that inner strength. You do have a power which is within you, and that can come out when it's needed. And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And it is a really good thing to acknowledge as well for yourself and for your life moving onwards. Okay, loves, have a lovely day. As I said, if you feel that you would like some soul-led sessions, some one-to-one sessions with me, please do get in touch. I'm here for you. And yes, you can move forward, and we can all move through this into a better place. And that is of change, because we do all need the change as well, which will come. Okay, have a lovely day and rest of the week. Bye.